Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the woods at Lone Pine Tarot. I hope you're having a calm day or night wherever you are. In today's reading, we're exploring one of the most helpful topics in tarot, asking for a special message from your spirit guides. Life can often feel like we're navigating a dark path, but your guides are here to help offer a lantern of wisdom and advice to light your way. So, we'll see what they want to say, but first, take a look at today's piles to choose from. Over here on the left for pile 1, your pile leader is Trust. In the middle for pile 2, your pile leader is Calm. And on the right for pile 3, your pile leader is Remember. Pause here, of course, if you need an extra moment to decide, but when you're ready, your timestamp is waiting in the description. I'll see you in your reading. Hello there, pile number 1. Welcome to your spirit guide message for today. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the candle card of Trust for your pile leader. So we'll put that up here by the golden pine cone. And let's start your message today with some cards, both from Tarot and Oracle. So, calling on your spirit guides for pile 1 collectively. Can you tell us more about what it is you want them to know? What's the topic of your message today for them? Thank you for their highest best good. All right, we already have, I believe that is the Six of Pentacles reversed pile 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, it is the Six of Pentacles reversed, which can mean perhaps recently you've been dealing with an unfairness of some sort or behavior that is not very charitable to you in some way. And we actually also had a secondary card pop up at the same time, which is the Five of Wands. Tends to mean people butting heads or competition. And even if you're not currently or recently in a time of direct competition with other people, it can mean in general that it feels like everybody is kind of against you or the world is kind of against you. Maybe something has been fighting against also like the things that you've been passionate about or ambitious about, whatever your ambitions or current passions might be, that kind of feeling. There's just some kind of conflict going on, and especially because of the Six of Pentacles just having come out reversed too next to it, it's likely also stemming from this emotional feeling of unfairness. Something doesn't feel right here, at least in terms of justice, and especially because of the Six of Pentacles, being a Pentacles card, pile 1, that often relates to either resources, finances, or your career. So some of you might resonate specifically with this being related to those areas of your life. Let's see what else your spirit guides wanted to say in terms of your first tarot cards. We have the Knight of Wands reversed, kind of similar to the Five of Wands in terms of it being related to ambitions or passions or things that we are excited about. But Knights of Wands reversed tend to represent a time when we feel blocked in our ability to take action towards those ambitions and passions. So very likely pile 1, if you're resonating so far with the idea of something kind of being unfair, maybe something being related to career, finances, and also the feeling like everyone's against you or the competitiveness element, that those elements that we were just talking about are making you feel as if you cannot take action here towards what it is that you want to do or achieve with this goal that you have in mind. And on top of that, as a court card, the Knight of Wands can actually represent a person. It's one of the few cards in tarot, as court cards do, that can be people. And a Knight of Wands reversed is often about it tends to be somewhat younger, maybe 30s to 50s or so in terms of age, although I don't always read strict ages with tarot. Sometimes I do read that as just like maturity levels. And a Knight of Wands reversed can also be someone that is impulsive, someone that speaks in a very fiery way, but because it's reversed, it's almost in a more negative light, like not, an impassioned speaker. This is someone who's maybe a little bit impulsive with what they say. Maybe they said something that kind of hurt you a little bit, or maybe they went ahead and they did something that they weren't supposed to do too, because that's another way that the Knight of Wands reversed can represent itself as a person is, someone's been a little bit impulsive lately. They didn't think before they charged in. Okay, so that could, technically that could be someone else in the situation. It could also be maybe like you, pile 1. Maybe you recently did something and you felt, oh, that was a bit impulsive. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And maybe that has made you feel as if like these things started stacking up against you because of that. Although I tend to read tarot in sequence, so I feel like for a lot of you this is someone else. But as I said, it could resonate that it being with some of you that it is you yourself, or even if you didn't technically do something impulsive, it's very possible that you fear that you did, okay? Because a lot of tarot is about the reflection of how we feel about a certain situation. And then we have the King of Pentacles reversed, another court card. And that, my friends, as a court card, just like the Knight of Wands, can represent a person. A King of Pentacles reversed in a situation can mean someone who is in a position of power, especially regarding finances or your career, because once again, we have Pentacles, lots of fire and earth energy in this whole reading so far. And they tend to be someone who is either like they're greedy with their money, maybe they're the source of this unfairness with the Six of Pentacles energy we were talking about before. So maybe they're not like paying you the way that they're supposed to, or they're not giving you, even if it's not literal financial resources, pile one, it could also be that they're not giving you like fair credit for things regarding like work or things that you're working on with this person. Or in general, once again, if you're not seeing that resonating in your situation as a person, just like the Knight of Wands might not have either. King of Pentacles reversed can represent situations where we feel as if we're having a very hard time manifesting external success in these areas of life, because he is the master of career and finances. He's someone who has, is very good at manifesting the things, but when he's reversed, that can mean that energy is a little bit blocked in our life. So overall, even if you're not resonating with like every single thing I said, pile one, in general, your spirit guides want to talk to you today about the unfairness that's been going on in your life recently, and especially maybe a lot of struggles you've had regarding your ambitions and like career or financial things. Okay, so keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, let's grab those other oracle cards I mentioned for you. So spirit guides, very fittingly, we have the Ask Your Guides oracle. So let's grab that right now. Anything else you'd like to say to pile one today about this? We already kind of have a bit of the situation. Now we're leaning more maybe into advice and more details, of course. And I think I already know which card is meant for you today, pile one, because look at that one. We have truth. She's literally peeling back a curtain. And number 10 in numerology, at least in my opinion, tends to represent the endings of chapters, things finally coming to a close, which is very fitting with something that has imagery regarding a curtain, right? Like, oh, it's the curtain close of something. I think your spirit guides, what I'm hearing intuitively, especially with that numerology coming forward for you, is that this area of struggle that you've been going with, or era, I should say, rather than area, but maybe era and area, it's like coming to an end, pile one, because of that curtain close. The mechanism by which it comes to a close is through you unveiling the truth in some way. I think there's something about the situation where right now it's a bit unclear. Maybe you're not really 100% sure who's to blame for the unfairness, or like what's been causing all of this, heated competition, or like this blockage in your way. But then finally the truth gets peeled back and you're like, okay, this is what's really going on. And number 2, this is how I move through this obstacle. Okay, that's what I'm hearing from your guides intuitively right now. And I think part of this reading is them trying to help you peel back that curtain so that you are able to move past these blockages faster. Okay. Oh my lord. Those cards just came flying out. Unfortunately, I can't take like 5 cards at once, so I will just pick from the ones that are still in my hand, and I'm feeling quite drawn to this one. We have release, letting go of something, and it is an autumnal card, pile one. So that makes me wonder if maybe some of these issues have been occurring since autumn of last year. Whenever you are watching, my readings are timeless most of the time, so I guess it really depends on when you're watching this particular reading, but whatever is the last time autumn came around, or if you're currently in autumn when you're watching this, same thing. It could be this is something that cropped up very recently. And on top of that, even with the tarot cards you got so far, I always associate with, I don't know, sometimes people associate wands with spring, but I do associate them sometimes with summer because of that fire energy that they represent. And then the pentacles especially are very autumn energy to me. So definitely makes me think that maybe this has been going on for ever since the past autumn, okay, has come to pass, where we are right now in terms of your timeline, right? But, and on top of that, the card release is the idea of something finally being let go of. That makes me think I was spot on with my intuition of like, okay, you're coming to an end here of this particular difficult chapter that's been going on, which of course is relieving to hear. So part of what your spirit guides want to tell you today is Don't worry, the cavalry is coming. Things are going to finally kind of simmer down and calm down, okay? Things are going to release, and especially if you've been looking for specifically the release of funds in some way, pile one, this is a really good sign because, you know, we had struggles with money here with the Six of Pentacles reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed, and the release is like, okay, finally that thing is let go to you. So if you're waiting on funds to be released, that's a really, really good sign too. Also, just in general, what I'm feeling intuitively, if those of you who resonate with these two cards, the court cards, as being people, especially that King of Pentacles reversed, I almost wonder if they might tend to be a little bit controlling, in which case I'm feeling intuitively that release card also means your spirit guides are saying that control is going to be released. Oftentimes, especially if it's a manager, which King of Pentacles is very like manager energy because it tends to be someone related to career most of the time. You know, maybe this manager gets let go, or that's, you know, because of their inefficiency or because they're ineffective, or, you know, maybe they pit people against each other. That's another way that Five of Wands might represent itself, okay? But I don't know, it seems pretty good to me, pile one is what I'm hearing in terms of this blockage finally clearing. Release, seeing the truth finally. Let's look at your main tarot spread here too. Spirit guides, what else do you want to tell pile one about this situation? We have, first up, the Two of Wands, plans for the future and more fire energy. I wonder if some of you are a fire sign as your sun sign, or you tend to have a lot of those placements in your chart, or even if it's not really astrologically significant, sometimes this can mean that you are in general a very ambitious person, because that's fire energy to me. Someone who's, well, not to be redundant, but they're fiery, they're very eager to go forward and follow their goals. And then we have, yes, the Knight of Pentacles. So once again, lots of fire and earth energy. I wonder too if maybe like you're a fire sign, and if you resonate with the court cards having been a person that you recognize in this situation, like they're an earth sign, or like you're the opposite signs and it's just like you keep clashing against each other. Maybe that's also that Five of Wands energy too. And the Knight of Pentacles, just like the other court cards, can represent a person in this situation. I feel like this actually might be you, pile one, even though I think you might be technically a fire sign, and Knight of Pentacles usually would mean an earth sign, but this represents someone that, you know, and the Two of Wands is, I have made plans for the future, and then right after that, the Knight of Pentacles is someone who says, okay, I've got my plans now I'm going to tackle them in a very dedicated, reliable, slow and steady wins the race kind of pace way, okay? It's not someone rushing like the Knight of Wands tends to do, especially when they're reversed, okay? There's someone who's like, I want to go about this, and I don't want to cut corners. I want to make sure this is done the right way. It might get done slower, but it gets done better. I feel like that's you in this situation, pile one that they're referencing, okay? And then your Heart of the Matter card is the Lovers, which traditionally can mean romantic relationship, also a choice of some sort. But I think, pile one, based on the cards that we have so far and what I've been interpreting for you on top of my intuition, I think this is more the interpretation of the Lovers in terms of your harmony with other people, and that being your Heart of the Matter card. It means the whole major theme that this situation revolves around is harmony in the situation. Okay, so like, I think once again, I mean, the Five of Wands is definitely a very not harmonious card. People are butting heads. There's maybe some competition going on. Maybe someone's been pitting other people against each other, okay? And so your spirit guides, by having that card come out, are acknowledging that, yes, this is really the main issue deep down, is a lack of harmony. And also, too, because the Lovers can traditionally mean a choice of some sort, that maybe someone made a poor choice and it led to this situation, or they keep making poor choices. Maybe that's why the Knight of Pentacles came up for you, pile one. It's like you're the one that has to keep kind of cleaning up behind the mess of the poor choices and the disharmony of other people involved. And so your spirit guides are coming forward to talk about that today. And now I'm very curious about where this is going to go, because we have next the near future and then the outcome position. And then I think the truth is going to be a part of that. Would not be shocked if, say, like the Sun came out. So let's see what pops out next. We have, oh, weird, the Three of Pentacles. Good weird, though. Very good weird. And once again, more earth energy. Definitely related to your career and your ambitions. Three of Pentacles actually tends to mean teamwork, pile one, which some of you might be like, okay, well, based on everything that's been going on, why has teamwork all of a sudden come out where it feels like everyone's been butting heads, or maybe people aren't working together very well? Let's see what the final card is. We have the Star. So not the Sun, but it is also a very good sign. I said the sun earlier because I thought, well, usually that means truth and happiness and joy, but the star is also a very good card to get. What that means, pile 1, is your spirit guides are telling you, and I think that might be why you were subconsciously drawn to, was this truth technically, I think was your pile leader? Or I'm not truth, I'm sorry, that was truth over here. Trust. Why you were subconsciously drawn to it is because your spirit guides are saying there's something in the situation that you have to trust will work out okay. And I know on the surface you might hear that and go, well, where's the proof? Like, especially when you're down in the trenches in a situation like this, you're like, oh my God, like, how could this possibly resolve itself? Okay. But your spirit guides are asking you to have the strength to trust that it's going to turn out okay. Specifically, it's going to turn out okay because of the power of teamwork. That is what the Three of Pentacles is always about. It's always about people bringing their resources together or their time, money, etc., especially in work situations, and saying, okay, let's get rid of the disharmony. How can we just get this done and not focus on so much like, where our differences are? How can we put our heads together and actually get this finished? Okay, so there's some element here where someone's going to come in, and it might be through your leadership too, pile 1, where it finally draws us all to like harmony, and based on the star being as your final outcome card, that's basically a really good sign of keep your hope and keep your faith that things will go well, because those are the main 2 keywords with the star card is our hopes and our faith. So everything that you're hoping will happen with this situation, the star as an outcome is a really good sign that yes, what you're hoping for will occur. Okay. Now I'm curious about the truth. I mean, as a tarot reader, I see the truth and I'm like, what's this truth? And I think that might be the mechanism by which this turns the situation from everything's falling apart despite you doing everything you can diligently, like the Knight of Pentacles, and, all this helter-skelter chaotic energy, these people over here, the Knight of Wands and King of Pentacles reversed, maybe aren't helping too. And I'm like, well, how does that turn into that? And I think that's the mechanism by which this gets everything back on track, is that truth. So let's ask your spirit guides, what is the truth for pile 1? What's the truth that helps everything get back on track and harmony return to the situation on their mind? What gets it back? We have the 7 of Wands, defending oneself. We literally have, it almost looks like a fox, and I would say that's probably a badger. And the fox is defending its kits or its pups. Defending oneself. Someone has to get defensive, pile 1. And 2, the 6 of Wands reversed has to get defensive about what is not actually working and what is not actually bringing things to victory, because the 6 of Wands reversed is usually a victory not attained. So what that means in terms of truth, because that's what I asked, can you clarify what the truth is that turns this around? Someone's going to finally speak up, and it might be you, pile 1. They're going to finally speak up in this situation and say, hey, wait a minute, this actually is not working. I wonder if for a long time there's been this sort of delusion going on that, oh, everything's fine. Everything's not on fire. I think it makes me think of that that meme of the dog in the room on fire, and he's just sitting there with the mug, and he's like, this is fine, when like everything is on fire around him. I feel like maybe that's kind of the situation that's been going on for you, which of course my condolences if so, pile 1. That's never fun to be in that metaphorical room on fire, right? But it's like someone finally stands up and is like, this is all on fire, right? And maybe you've already been kind of saying that to other people and like no one believes you, pile 1, but then maybe someone comes forward that has like leadership power in the situation, or finally you're able to step into more leadership power, and then you can say, hey, wait a minute, we need to grab the reins and get this back on track. Either way, it's something along those lines that brings this teamwork about, and harmony too, remember the Lovers, to get it to the outcome that you were hoping for with the star. Okay, so it almost makes me think too, the release card might have been a hint from your spirit guides to release your anxiety about this situation. I know it might look kind of bleak and chaotic right now, but everything I'm seeing from this reading as a tarot reader, and not just reading the cards, but also my intuition tells me it's going to be okay, pile 1. It's going to be fine. Just trust. I know it's hard. Know that the truth will come out. Someone will point out the obvious that should have been maybe pointed out a long time ago. But, sometimes people don't operate on the obvious. People operate on the let's ignore what's going on and hope it doesn't all fall apart. And then someone points out, well, it's falling apart. Let's fix that. And then finally you get that resolution because someone's able to admit, hey, wait a minute, maybe we need to steer a course a different direction, okay? But just know it's going to be okay. That's what your spirit guides are saying. So I hope that reading was helpful for you, number one, but I also hope that you liked it and that it resonated with your situation. If so, please like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those three things. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night. And I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye, Pile 1. Hi there, Pile number 2. Welcome today to your spirit guide message. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the very tempting Pile Liter of Calm with what looks like a teacup. But of course, all drinks are great. Maybe coffee, maybe some lemonade, whatever you prefer. With that being said, let us put your Pile Liter up at the top by the golden pine cone. And we're going to start your spirit guide message with both tarot and oracle cards. So calling on your spirit guides for your highest best good for Pile 2 today collectively. Can you tell us more about what it is you want to talk to them about? Spirit guides, thank you. What do you want them to know? First card is the Star reversed. Oftentimes, Pile 2, that can represent that we are currently in a situation where the thing that we're hoping for or that we're trying to have faith in, well, our faith might be a little bit shaken. So maybe perhaps recently you had a situation where you're going along, things seemed like they were going okay, and then all of a sudden your energy or your faith in whatever it was started to putter out. We'll keep going, of course. That'll give us some more details on maybe why that happened or what it was, but that is the very first energy popping out with today's reading. And then we have another major arcana with the Lovers. And the Lovers can, of course, traditionally mean with a relationship, of course, that's how most people read it, but traditionally it can also mean a choice of some sort. So for some of you, this is actually you losing faith or hope in a relationship. Some of you, it could also mean that your spirit guides want to talk to you today about you losing hope or faith in a choice that you have made or a choice that you're like currently facing. You're like, I'm not really sure which is the best way to go, or like maybe you just made this choice and now you're having like second thoughts about it. You're like, I don't know, maybe that wasn't the right choice to make. So let's keep going. Next up, we have the Nine of Pentacles, the card of the fruits of our labor. We put in the effort and now we're looking for the grapes after a long time of a metaphorical tending to the vineyard, right? So it can mean that your hope or your faith, your goal has been about something that you're trying to extract the fruits of your labor out of. Okay, you did something, you did a project, but maybe you're not quite seeing the results that you wanted yet. Or same thing too, for those of you, this is relationship related, very similar. You're not really seeing perhaps all of what you put into the relationship given back to you, or even more than that. So let's see. Last but not least, we have the Two of Pentacles, the card of the juggler, someone juggling something. Maybe you've had a lot of responsibilities on your plate recently too. And in general, being a Pentacles card, Pile 2. The Two of Pentacles can be related to finances and career. So maybe on top of your struggle with, you're losing your hope and your faith in either this goal or this relationship, it's been hard juggling just your career and finances on top of it, or it's like having to juggle all of these things together is making you lose your hope or your faith in your ability to keep them going. Some of you, I'm hearing intuitively, it might even be that this choice is regarding you choosing either a relationship or like a career goal. Maybe it's like, I know sometimes people, that happens like if they have to move for a job and like one partner doesn't want to move, so that it kind of creates some issues there. Although, of course, it could be for many different reasons, too, of why you might see struggles in the area. But that is just one example that came to mind when I was explaining what I meant there. So let's keep going. We'll see what happens with your Ask Your Guides Oracle. Very fitting for this kind of reading. Oh, well, that was quick. Just plopped out like a cloud. Very soft. Okay, thank you, Spirit Guides. First card from your Oracle today is Abundance, number 36, which added together is 9, just like your 9 of Pentacles, tends to mean we're getting to the end of something. Not quite a 10 yet, so not the closing of a chapter, but we're getting to the point of, just like I like to use a lot of writing metaphors in my readings, you're at the point of your story with this situation where, Well, you might not be at the climax just yet, pile 2. But your spirit guides are saying you're going to get there, because this is the point of the story where a hero, like the climax is they defeat the big baddie or they attain the goal that they were trying to get to from the very beginning of the story. And then right afterwards, there's that kind of nice float down of, success and celebrations and everything, just like the Nine of Pentacles, as I said, represents a time when, we are extracting the fruits of our labor. We put in all the hard work. We already did the hero's journey, and now we're at a point of we're going to finally see the fruits of what we've been doing, okay? And abundance is very similar to that message, because abundance means, of course, having more than plenty, in other words. And so I think, the beginning of this reading was talking about a struggle that you've been going through, whether it be through a relationship or a goal of yours, pile 2. But I think your spirit guides, really, this is turning into a reassurance reading. And sometimes that's all we really need to hear, is just reassurance that everything will work out. Of course, we'll see the other cards that will come out. We'll see the whole picture. But I think your juggling and your struggles will be rewarded with this, especially because abundance came out. And on top of that, maybe subconsciously you were drawn to calm for a reason. It's like your spirit guide saying, it's okay. Like, be calm. It's not going to be as big of a mountain as it seems. So let's keep going. Spirit guides, what else do you want to say to pile 2 about this situation? Having more than plenty is always good. And then we have, taking risks. So really, I think maybe the fear is to take a risk. Pile 2. It's like you're standing on top of that mesa or that plateau and you're like, I am not so sure if I want to take off like that hawk. Because that's the scary thing about when we take risks, is we're not sure if we're going to fall or we're going to fly. But I'm hearing from your spirit guides, pile 2. Whatever choice you made, or what if you haven't made the choice yet, but whatever choice you do make when you get there, if you haven't already made it, well, number one, especially if it was the choice to take a risk, I think you made the right choice, is what your spirit guides are saying. Okay? But either way, I think you, even if it's not necessarily related to taking a risk, I think you made the right choice, is what I'm hearing from your spirit guides. And that's the other thing, because like I said, with the Lovers, traditionally it can mean a card of choices, especially when it's a choice between something either like lesser and greater, or like a less moral choice versus a greater choice morality speaking, I guess is how I should put that. And it being upright is like you made the great choice, pile 2. Your faith is shaken. You might not necessarily have the confidence in this thing yet, because you maybe haven't seen the results you've been looking for. Maybe it just feels like, that 2 of Pentacles of like, I've been juggling this. I'm not so sure I'm going to handle it, or it's going to be fine. But I think based on these cards, especially abundance is the main one, you're going to be fine. You've made the right choice, or you're going to make the right choice, pile 2. And on top of that, abundance usually means, as I said, having more than plenty, and especially because the Pentacles cards came out twice. That tends to mean finances and resources and career. So especially for those of you this is related to career, that you made a choice recently, definitely that means an abundance in terms of your return based on the investment that you put into it, which the investment right now might have just been that you literally just took the risk with this choice, of course, but as we often say, no risk, no reward. So taking a risk in this situation, I think, was the right choice. But let's keep going and see what else your spirit guides say about this. Definitely a reassurance reading. Okay, first card today is the Five of Swords, conflict. So especially for those of you that this is like a relationship goal that you've been struggling with, or you're losing your hope or your faith in, etc. Might have been there even was a fight. Five of Swords, especially being an air card, is often about verbal battles and sharp battles too. It might not have even been a lighthearted thing. It might have been a big argument, especially as your first card. Those of you that you're not really seeing this as a relationship thing, it's more a different kind of goal. This could have even been, an argument with someone else related to this goal or this decision that you made to change this to this direction or this choice, etc. And or sometimes the Five of Swords can actually be conflict with self, really hard conflict with self. It's not necessarily a choice card like, say, the Lovers or the Two of Swords, but I do see it as, especially because of the meaning of the Five of Swords as a harsh conflict, it can mean like, being in conflict with ourselves in a very harsh way, okay? Maybe beating ourselves up, especially if you took a choice or made a choice and right now you're like beating yourself up over it and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Did I do the wrong thing? Should I have taken that risk? Like, that's also kind of the energy pile too. Then we have the Seven of Swords reversed. Getting caught with something being sneaky but having been found out. Some of you, if it's relationship related, maybe your partner, and this is past tense, so this, you already know this if this is resonating, okay? Maybe your partner got caught doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. I mean, of course, that can mean so many different things. And that might have been actually where the fight stemmed from. That, or if it's not a relationship-related thing for you, pile two, this can mean, what was coming to mind actually was imposter syndrome, if it's not relationship-related, because the Seven of Swords, especially reversed, is a card of deception revealed, and oftentimes when we're trying to attain a certain goal, I don't know, it depends on your psychology specifically, but a lot of people do suffer from imposter syndrome. That's basically, if you don't know what that is, it's the feeling of, I am not good enough, and I fear that people are going to find that I'm an imposter. Okay, that's what I mean by deception revealed, okay? That's maybe also why you're losing hope or your faith in this particular thing, okay? Then in the middle, we have the Hierophant reversed, breaking tradition, trying something new, especially related to taking risks. That's another synchronicity there, because the Hierophant reversed energy, especially as your heart of the matter, the very central tarot card, means we have broken away from what has always been. We've broken away from tradition. It can also mean breaking away from an authority figure that has power over us. Typically, Hierophant is more about spiritual authority, but in general, I would just read this as like just main authority, okay? So could mean you left a job and then you're afraid of taking that risk, but you felt like you had to leave it because you're like, I can't stand this particular authority over me at this job anymore, okay? Or maybe if it's a relationship related thing, like that was part of the fight, was not just a deception, but it also could have been around, control, okay? Maybe someone was a little bit too controlling in the situation or the relationship, okay? So you're trying something new. Or you're being encouraged in that way. You're encouraged to take a risk too if you haven't done that already, haven't already made that choice. Calculated, careful risk, but taking a risk, trying the new, is what the Hierophant reverse typically means, okay? Break away from what has always been. And then we have, beautiful, the Three of Wands, especially upright in the near future position, pile two, that often can represent that the plans that you have made, that you take action on, are going to go well. So I think that's why your spirit guides were saying, maybe don't fall so hard into that star reversed energy of losing hope or faith in what's going on. Know that you have the strength to gain the fruits of your labor from this. Know that you have the strength to juggle all of this, okay? Because that's very, very good tidings, a very good outcome here in the near future for any goals that you're currently working on actively. Okay? It's also really good card of bright futures. Even this figure here is just it might feel shaky, especially because this particular interpretation, they're on a very almost treacherous looking plateau here. I wouldn't even call it a plateau. It's not even very big, right? It's not like these big mesas here in the Taking Risks card, but at the same time, they know that they've planned it well and therefore they're not going to fall, which makes me think again once more of like that, oh, I gotta balance something. I feel like I'm kind of teetering over the edge here, but like you're going to walk that balance beam, metaphorically speaking, just fine. Pile two, okay? And then let us look at the final card we have. Speaking of balance, we have Temperance reversed, okay? So that can mean as an outcome card that there's still some more work to be done, though, in making sure that you maintain balance in some way. If this is relationship related for you, should you have chosen to stay in the relationship, that can mean there's more balance that needs to be done in terms of, specifically, especially if there's like a controlling element here, and someone having been deceptive in some way, that can mean more control and balance in terms of like equal authority in the relationship, especially because of the Hierophant, right? It can also mean to, as a reminder from your spirit guides, to make sure that things are equally distributed and balanced and everything. Not too much of one extreme, because moderation is another really good keyword to use with Temperance. For those of you that this is not well, say if it's relationship related, but you left the person already, like maybe you took that risk. Maybe that was the choice that you weren't so 100% sure of. Well, number one, you did good then, because we look at the Three of Wands, because like, okay, great future. However, this is your spirit guides reminding you, try not to fall into the same trap with future partners in the future, okay? Remember that a partnership is about equal responsibility, but also equal power, okay? A power imbalance in a relationship most of the time does not work out very well. So they're just reminding you, take this relationship, if you left it, as a lesson, pile 2, to remind yourself what happens when things get out of balance in terms of authority and power between two people, okay? Or between people in the relationship, etc. And on top of that, for those of you that are like, it's not really a relationship thing, it's more about a goal, this is a reminder then for you guys, if it's more about your goal, to do everything in moderation, okay? Maybe there's a potential risk here when you make this choice or you go after this goal to do something in like an extreme, but your spirit guides are saying don't do extremes. Always take that balance beam path of, okay, I'm going to wobble in the middle, okay? I'm not going to go all the way this way. I'm not going to go all the way that way. I'm going to go right down the middle. And I'm going to walk that balance beam very carefully, okay? In fact, I'm going to draw just one more card of clarity on that, too. Spirit guides, can you give me one more on the Temperance reverse? Thank you. What might be out of balance? This one was poking my hand, so I'm going to take it. This one right here. The Nine of Swords reversed. Okay, something about your anxiety. Maybe that's more so much about your tendency towards mental extremes with these things. Maybe this, especially for those of you that suffer from imposter syndrome, where that was resonating. Really keep your mind in balance as you go forward here, pile 2, with this thing, okay? Because I think you have that tendency towards anxiety is what your spirit guides are saying with the Nine of Swords reversed. And it being reversed is like them saying, keep things balanced in terms of releasing anxiety and letting it go, okay? It's good to be conscientious. However, I think based on these cards, reading this as a tarot reader, this to me indicates somebody that might delve a little bit too far in the direction of letting your mind and your anxiety grow out of control when you do take risks, which, I can't point any fingers. I do that 100% myself, pile 2. I'm speaking 100% from experience too. But on top of that, based on these cards, I think this is what your spirit guides are just warning you. They're kind of like, well, hey, yes, we know taking risks can be scary. Yes, we know that, maybe you haven't seen 100% evidence outside of the risk or the choice that you've made to still have hope or faith in it yet. However, you're well on your way there to things working out well with the Three of Wands. Remember, just what would make it go even smoother is keep your mind in balance. Don't let that anxiety run out of control like a wildfire. And that will help you manage all of that, just like the Two of Pentacles guy juggling the pentacles, okay? You're well on your way to abundance. You're well on your way to things turning out okay. Remember, the Calm card was the one that you were drawn to, pile 2. Maybe subconsciously and spiritually, your spirit guides were drawing you to that because you need more calm. Okay, they're not blaming you, and neither am I, but they're just saying, where possible, try to calm the mental noise. And just keep going. Just keep taking it one step at a time, and you'll find your way to that abundance that you're seeking, okay? So that was your reading for today, my wonderful pile 2. I hope that, number one, it helped you. That's my main goal with these readings, but also that you liked it and it resonated. If so, please like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more than one. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night. And I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. Welcome to your spirit guide message for today. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to remember with the lovely picnic table underneath. It almost resembles a willow tree because of the strands, but in either case, very beautiful card. Let's put your pile leader up here by the golden pine cone. And we'll start today with both some tarot and oracle cards. So, calling on the spirit guides for pile 3, the remember pile. Can you tell us more about what you want them to know? What context are you speaking in? with this, well, that was fast, with this message of yours. Thank you. So, of course, we already have our first card. The Ten of Cups reversed. Okay, something happened recently that did not make you happy. That's usually what that card means, especially because normally the Ten of Cups upright is like, oh, it's the card of happily ever afters. It's the card of harmony and healthiness and relationships. However, reversed, it can mean maybe we had a bit of a setback. So for some of you, it could be related to literally a relationship, or for some of you, it could also just in general mean there's a great unhappiness that happened recently, especially in the emotional suit, because cups in tarot usually relate to our heart and our emotions. Then we have the Hanged Man reversed. Or no, actually, I'm sorry, he's upright. I always get confused because he's kind of upside down, right? So he is upright. So Hanged Man upright, my friends, often represents a time when we're asked to shift our perspective on something, or sometimes it can also mean we've been made a bit of a martyr. I think for you specifically, I'm hearing, at least intuition-wise, that this is more related to this great unhappiness in terms of the way it changed your perspective on something. For some of you, it's very possible that it changed your perspective on what happiness actually means or what it is to you. Sometimes, we achieve a happiness and we get there, but then we realize, well, this maybe really isn't 100% actually what I wanted, okay? Sometimes, too, it can mean in the pursuit of a happiness that the struggle we have getting there makes us realize, is this really worth this effort or whatever I've sacrificed? Is this really worth the goal that I have in mind with this happiness? Okay, that's what I'm hearing for you. So a lot of mental perspective shifts recently, or maybe you're currently going through that right now. Maybe that's why you were drawn to this reading, okay? Let's keep going. Then we have the Nine of Cups. However, we do have the card of wishes fulfilled. The card of sometimes smugness. He can be a smug card because, look at that expression. He's got his arms crossed. He's like, I got all my cups and my ducks in a row. Everything's great. Very odd, because we have that great unhappiness, the perspective shift, and now we have someone who's very emotionally satisfied with something. Let's look at the last card before I say for sure. Because of the Ace of Pentacles. Now, sometimes I do read, I just recently started reading with the 4 mini tarot cards at the top, and it's based on my intuition. Sometimes I read it as, like, these are overall energies of the situation going on. Sometimes I read it as, like, a timeline, as I typically do for my main spread, and I'm hearing for you, pile 3, this is more of a timeline, where you have this great unhappiness, you have this perspective shift, everything turning up outside its head, and then something comes along that's like a wish granted or makes you emotionally satisfied, hence the Nine of Cups, because there's a new opportunity coming for you in terms of career, finances, or resources. That's what the Ace of Pentacles is often about. That can mean, it's like literally finding a coin on the ground. Of course, it's going to be probably bigger than just a coin on the ground, right? Or, dollar bill or, whatever your currency is. But, it's that sort of feeling of like, oh, this is here. This is this new energy that came in that I didn't see before. And it's this new opportunity about, literally you can look at the picture here with the Ace of Pentacles. And, as much as I've read tarot, I didn't notice this till now. There's literally a gateway here. It's like a gateway to a greater summit. There's a mountain in the background beyond that garden gateway. So to greater heights, to greater, could be a promotion for some of you, or a new job. Let's look at your oracle cards. I want to see more about this. So actually, pile 3, this reading might just turn into a blessing reading. Like other piles today had, I think pile 1 was more kind of advice. Pile 2 was kind of a reassurance, and I think you might be more of a blessing reading from your spirit guides today. Like they're telling you ahead of time, like, hey, this thing is coming your way that's going to be good. So let's keep looking. See what else they want to say. Well, for sure, that one is very prominent. We have Leap of Faith, number 3. Very fitting for you, pile 3. You have 3 repeated now. Leap of Faith, specifically from guardian angels. That means you're protected in any leap of faiths, or leap of faith. Leaps. There we go. I got the plural on the first word. Leaps of faith that you take here in the near future, pile 3. Could also mean that you took a leap of faith, and that's what brought you this great unhappiness, and it made you realize, well, is that really what I wanted to do? But on top of that, you might be drawn to another leap of faith because of this Ace of Pentacles, because oftentimes when aces come up in our lives, pile 3, because they're new opportunities, inherently they encourage us towards the direction of taking a leap of faith, because whenever we do something new in life, pile 3, we often are taking a leap of faith. We don't know where we're going to land. We don't know whether we're going to fall or fly. And that's the scary part. Because oftentimes we say to ourselves, well, the devil I know is better than the devil I don't. But that's the thing, is if we never take a risk, if we never take the leap of faith, pile 3, how do we know for sure that what out there isn't better for us than where we are right now? You don't know until you do it, right? It's interesting. Actually, pile 2 had a pretty similar message, and I'll tell you the same thing I told them. Well, speaking of Gateway, holy crap. We'll talk about that in a second. Speaking of the Gateway. But I'll tell you what pile... I can't talk today. Well, I'll tell you what I told pile 2. As we often say, no risk, no reward related to that leap of faith. But yes, now we have a gateway. Speaking of, I was just talking about that here in the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like literally a gateway to a new thing. And there you go, from the Sacred Destiny Oracle, you have the gateway with very beautiful unicorn. And it's interesting because it's a gateway that has a mountain in the background, once again, just like the Ace of Pentacles. And when I see mountains in symbolism, I always kind of think of like, oh, that's a new goal to climb for you. It's a new summit to achieve or to get to the top of. And so that's why I was saying earlier, is like, I wonder if it might be like a promotion or like moving to a job where there is like room for you to actually like climb a mountain. And inherently that means, of course, like there's room to actually get a promotion of some sort. But I don't know. I mean, when I see gateway symbolism, pile 3, it often means that we were in one world and then all of a sudden we cross that threshold. And it moves us toward this new world, and especially with this card. It's like sun shining these rays over here. You don't see it quite yet. That horizon is still out of your visual grasp right now. But there is evidence here with those rays of light. So I wonder if some of you, if you looked around right now, metaphorically speaking, or maybe literally, I don't know, sometimes synchronicity comes out that way. If you looked around you right now, you might actually find evidence of this new opportunity coming that you just haven't glimpsed yet because you didn't know to look. It might be why your spirit guides are mentioning this to you, because they're kind of being like, well, hey, pile 3, wait a minute. Don't be all dour and gloom. It's going to be okay. Okay, you have this great thing coming. We know that this unhappiness was in your recent past, and they're acknowledging that with that Ten of Cups reversed. And we know that it flipped everything on its head. Maybe you change your perspective on what happiness means. So sometimes when we have an unhappiness, it can cloud our ability to see its opposite, joy, in the near future. But they're saying, if you looked around us right now, you might find those rays of light just beyond the gateway, on that threshold you're just on. It's also a really good sign for you, pile 3, in terms of if you've been looking for progress. Gateways and archways are good symbols in terms of moving to the next level. I wonder if you might get the Judgment card with your tarot spread here, your main one. So let's see that now, actually. Speaking of, Spirit Guides, what else do you want to tell pile 3 about this new gateway they're just on the threshold of? Well, for sure we'll pick that one. We have the Wheel of Fortune reversed as the first card. So that tells me, once again, we've got that 10, just like the 10 of Cups reversed. As your inciting incident card, I call the first card of my main spread that I use. Yes, something happened in your recent past, pile 3. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was related to a relationship going completely haywire. That can be the Ten of Cups reversed. Or in general, as I said, a great unhappiness. You have that reemphasized here with the Wheel of Fortune reversed having come out as your first main tarot card. And that typically means, because, you know, the Wheel of Fortune is often about fate. It's often about, especially being reversed, it's about downturns in fate. Like, you know, life, you know, goes like roller coasters, right? We have highs and then we have lows. And reversed, it's like, oh, we were at a pretty low right here in terms of our happiness, in terms of our luck, too. Luck is another very common keyword with the Wheel of Fortune, okay? So I don't know what it was, pile 3. Something happened though, and you were not very happy. You just had bad luck. That Ten of Cups reversed is unhappiness, things like that. So no wonder why your spirit guides want to give you a heads up about an opportunity coming, because they're saying, well, hey, wait a minute. Don't hang your head so low. Then we have the Queen of Swords reversed. That can mean, because this is a court card, pile 3. Court cards can sometimes mean people in situations with tarot. A Queen of Swords reversed tends to be someone who is feminine, air sign. That, or if they're not necessarily an air sign, it can mean a feminine person who is very critical of tongue. They're almost ruthless with the way that they speak. They're calculating, they're cold. Maybe they tend to, like, especially with careers too, there tend to be people who might cut other people on the way up the ladder just to like get everyone out of their way, and they pull themselves up. Okay, somewhat along those lines. If you're recognizing this as a person, maybe that Queen of Swords reversed was the cause of your unhappiness. So maybe it was the partner that you were with that was like that. Or if it was related to a job, maybe that was someone at that job that caused those problems. Okay, the good news is that she's in your recent past. So I think this Queen of Swords reverse energy, she's not really, necessarily a part of your future anymore. However, she might have been causing that. Or if you're not recognizing that as a person, pile 3, that can mean a situation where not only did we have a downturn of, bad luck coming our way and unhappiness, but things were confusing. It was hard to make sense of things internally, mentally, because the Queen of Swords is the master of the mind within ourselves. So it's about how we logically think about ourselves. It's about how we logically decide how we think about things in terms of what's going on around us. That's her domain if she's not literally a person. Okay, so obviously that downturn of luck and that unhappiness made things confusing, as, bad things happening typically do. It makes things confusing because we're like going along, we think everything's going fine, la-di-da, skipping along, and then all of a sudden, boom, bad luck comes our way and we get confused because we're like, well, wait a minute, I thought everything was going fine. Okay, I thought everything was going to be okay, right? So that's your past energy. And then we have the 5 of Wands reversed as your center of the spread, your heart of the matter. That can mean either competition growing out of control or competition that is too strong. For those of you that have been searching for a job, and that Ace of Pentacles is like you getting offered a job, that can mean that this is the competition of the job search, okay, which I've heard is very difficult right now in today's economy and everything going around in the world. I've just heard the job market is very difficult from people that I know personally too. And so very makes sense if you've been on a job search that 5 of Wands could be, you've been trying to get a job, but it's like the competition was always so fierce that you always, were not picked as the final candidate. Okay. Or if it's not necessarily related to a job, it can mean that sometimes the 5 of Wands reversed can mean that you've lost your fight. And maybe that's the energy you're sitting in right now, pile 3. You've lost your fight. You've lost your vigor in terms of competition. And I mean that not necessarily as in like butting heads with other people, but I mean that in terms of like the thing that you were trying to do. Because remember I said at the very beginning, I was like, some of you might have had a perspective shift on what actually happiness was. So that could be a situation where we do lose our vigor for competing. Maybe it's you're currently still at that job and you're like, man, I don't really even feel motivated to keep doing my best here. Like that's a really good example of a 5 of Wands reversed energy, because you're like, you're not even competing with other people anymore in terms of promotions. You're like, oh man, I don't like this place anymore. I'm not happy here like I thought I would be. Okay. But yeah, so many ways that 5 of Wands could be interpreted, especially looking at it upright for a second to see the imagery. Just too many cooks in the kitchen, too. Maybe you've lacked power in the situation as well. Too many cooks in the kitchen, as I said. But beautiful. In the near future, we have the Fool. Speaking of gateways, once again, we have that synchronicity. The Fool is about, I'm starting a new adventure. Pile 3, I think if you're not already knowing this, or you haven't consciously decided yet, I think you're well on your way to a new beginning somewhere else. Because the Fool is often about, okay, I'm done. Chapter closed. I'm going to do something new now. I'm going to start a new adventure. And that's very similar to what we were seeing here because of the newness message of the Ace of Pentacles about, a new opportunity, new energy, right? And on top of that, the leap of faith is obviously when you do try something new and when you're on the gateway and threshold of something, just like your other cards were saying, especially literally the gateway card. Inherently, you take a leap of faith when you're doing something new, okay, right? So, and on top of that, it being upright means probably a pretty successful new beginning for you, pile 3, okay? And then your last card today is the 4 of Swords, a beautiful outcome. Not a dramatic one, but a very beautiful outcome because the 4 of Swords often represents a time of rest. We can finally rest. We don't have to worry about something anymore. We can finally put the sword down, just like this. Well, is that a man or a woman? Person? I don't know. It's a fantasy deck, so sometimes it's not necessarily like, anyways. Person. There we go. I'll just say person. Anyways, the person is at rest, finally. Finally calm. Finally able to put our worries away. We've started a new adventure, and this gateway is a threshold to somewhere a lot more calm, pile 3. So if things have been very chaotic, which they might have been, especially if we had a great unhappiness and a great time of little to no luck, as your cards were saying, just know your spirit guides are, well, it's number one, a blessing reading, like I was saying earlier, but it's also a reassurance reading, kind of like pile 2 today, where your spirit guides are just telling you, they're acknowledging, we know it's been tough, we understand that, we're acknowledging that because of the cards that have come out. However, you're just on the cusp of something a lot better. Okay, this is a very good outcome for you, pile 3. After all these cards, which are like, ooh, not so good, we have a new beginning and then rest. Because you're just on that threshold. So keep pushing forward. Don't be afraid to take leaps of faith towards new opportunities that you think will emotionally satisfy you. And I didn't even talk about your pile leader yet, so we'll wrap up your reading with that, because remember, it said remember. I wonder if a part of where you're headed is actually towards some place that was in your past. Maybe you're going to, it's technically a new opportunity, but it might be a job that you did in the past that you left for a while, in terms of like the title or the role or responsibilities, etc. Or maybe you found yourself reminiscing recently on times that have been a lot calmer, and you're like, God, I wish I could go back to that calm time. That's another really good sign, especially because of the Four of Swords too, but remember that you're returning to a space that you thought was only accessible within memories, emotionally speaking. Okay. Because of this gateway you're just on the threshold of. So take into account the perspective changes you've seen because of your downturn of luck. They will help you. But on top of that, just know, new opportunities on the horizon for you, pile 3, that dawn after that long night on top of it. And trust that when you do, or if you already have taken that leap of faith, you're protected. Because that's especially why guardian angels come out with this particular card. Because oftentimes they do protect us when we think we're doing something risky. Okay? That's what guardian angels do. They watch out for your health that way. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? So wonderful. Especially because I think in the Remember card with that picnic table there, it almost looks like more of a cafe table than picnic. It's like turning to a simpler time. Like, I don't know. For some reason, it's like lemonade on the porch. I don't know. I don't know why that's coming up specifically. Maybe you're literally drinking lemonade on the porch as you're watching this. But I guess that's what it means by simpler time, though. When things move slower. Okay, that's what that symbol means to me, at least, like drinking lemonade on the porch, okay? Maybe you're being drawn to drink lemonade today, I don't know. I know it sounds weird and out of blue, but sometimes I hear those things, when it comes to readings like this, or I feel them intuitively, and I'm like, well, weird thing to mention, but I'll mention it anyways, because then down in the comments below, people were like, oh my god, that literally resonates with something, so I always mention it just to be sure, so. Be at peace, pile 3. That was your reading today from your spirit guides. I hope that you, number one, felt that you were helped in some way, because that's my main goal with these readings, but also that it resonated and you liked it. And if so, please like the video, please comment down below, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more than just one. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 3, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye.